Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, December 7th, 2022, 11 to 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. We've talked a lot about separation. There is no separation. The illusion of the body gives us the impression that we're separate. Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. To keep our faces toward change and behave like free spirits in the presence of fate is strength undefeatable. Helen Keller. All too often, we think we are alone on this journey through this life. We may be consumed with the belief that we live in a separate body with separate thoughts, in separate houses, in separate countries, and have separate lives. This couldn't be further from the truth. The reality that we see with our eyes is only a thin sliver of the greater reality that includes a wider spectrum. Meaning, when we look at a rainbow, we're only seeing the visible light and not the ultraviolet, infrared, microwave, X-rays, and gamma rays that are also everywhere. The idea that we are separate beings is an illusion caused by one's inability to look beyond the mind and into the deeper truth within. The moment we give up this idea of being separate from anyone or anything in this world, a very interesting phenomenon occurs. We stop suffering. It's that simple. The moment we give up this idea of being separate from anyone or anything in this world, a very interesting phenomenon occurs. We stop suffering. We experience a sensation of oneness that many on this planet may describe as unending bliss that takes over our entire being. Without the illusion of separation, there is such a deep experience of joy that we completely forget our big problems and personal agenda. When oneness is present, this entire world disappears, and who we are, our heart, soul, and essence, is the only thing that is real, that has ever been real, that will ever be real, ever, beyond, and forever. Realize right now how you are intimately connected to this world, and yet are not actually of this world. Realize right now how you are intimately connected to this world, and yet are not actually of this world. Daring ideas are like chessmen moved forward. They may be beaten, but they may start a winning game. Go it. The real challenge in totally transcending suffering permanently is that we will have to do it on our inner world, which appears to be just you inside there alone. Again, this couldn't be further from the truth. We may not believe this, yet there is a team of enlightened beings on the higher realms who are always with us. These are ascended masters, archangels, and personal guides who are constantly holding the space around us for the unfolding of our enlightenment. Just ask for them to show themselves and wait. Be patient and willing to see something that will blow your mind. Then you will be open to the experience that there is no separation. No man is an island. John Donne. Because we are still in a physical body, which is visible by others in this 3D world, at the deepest core, there are issues that we haven't yet dealt with. These may only come up when we choose to isolate ourselves or bubble up the moment we leave our caves. Yet we will find that the complete healing and integration of our deepest issues comes from spending time with people. This is the real litmus test for our enlightenment. If and when we go into deep samadhi, meditation, for 5 years, it's easy to experience a deep, peaceful connection to the source. Enough energy can pass and pour through you that you could make your body glow bright at night. Yet when you return from the hills to be with your family at the marketplace, you will see how much of a master you truly are. If you are able to be 100% at peace with everything that arises, then and only then will you have truly mastered your inner world. As our mind shifts, our inner world, it creates a change in what we attract and manifest in our outer world. As we know, there is only one world, yet this world contains both the inner and outer dimensions in the one. It's like the yin-yang symbol where the opposites are found within each other. So if you look at yourself, we've all seen the yin-yang symbol. Dark and light, light and dark. Balance. But this is all about discovery. We're all discoverers. And we're all on this path of discovery. And to find out, each of us, who and what we are within these bodies. It's imperative. You could go 100,000 lifetimes and still not know who and what you are. Why? Because the majority of us spend all of our time in the physical material world while we're in physical form. That's where we spend it. We spend most of our time being mastered by the ego mind, which is fear, worry, suffering, pain, sorrow, anxiety, all of those things, and then some. It's like on this planet right now. What do you think would happen? What would be the occurrence? Let's just say when the American people discover that they are one, that they aren't the body, that they're one within the body, that they move together, work together, experience together. Years and years have been spent. Eons and eons have been spent. Actually, billions of us through existence. Why is it that we do not have that awareness? The material physical world is a very enticing window. And a lot of us will say, well, you know, out there looking out at that window, it really looks exciting and adventuresome, and looking on the inside seems boring. So I'm gonna go out there and immerse myself out there. And I'll probably find a truth here and there. What happens after 1,000 lifetimes? And you're still looking out that window saying, I'm going to go out there. And you could travel through many lifetimes. You could be many different existences. And when it's all said and done, you finally come to the conclusion that all your answers, all your power, all your direction, all your joy, happiness, bliss is within you. Now imagine you could tap in knowing this, right? And you go through the heart mind. And you literally know that you're a part of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. You're a part of everything. Not the body, but the God within that body. Which means that you can literally plug in to the pure consciousness of existence. Now, that's a very, very, very unknown. And some people say, well, you know, would I be able to handle that? Or would it be too overwhelming for me? That's why we continually are moving towards getting to know what we are, who we are in these bodies, so that when you choose, and only you can choose for you, and you choose to say to yourself, you're already doing it, but then you become consciously aware that you're doing it, and you literally can tap in to the pure consciousness of existence, which means all beings, all that there is, and beyond. All civilizations throughout not only this galaxy and universe, but all the rest. When you know, emphatically so, deep within your core, that you're limitless, you have no limit, and you really don't have form, you don't have physical form, you enter physical form. And we enter these physical forms to experience. That's why we do it. And as memories begin to, first a little bit at a time, then flooding in of past lives. There'd be little fragments here and there. And the fragments will come together and form a more complete picture. And your understanding will come full circle that you know that you have inhabited many physical forms and have experienced many physical occurrences in that physical form. And remember, this is through the heart mind, not the ego mind, where people will say, "Oh, I've had more lifetimes than you. You're young soul. You just had a few lifetimes." That's all ego. Okay, it's all ego. And when we come to the understanding that we can tap into all the particles of existence, all the consciousness of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, forever, you can experience all people's lives if you choose. So because we have this quote unquote amnesia, and we are in this circle of constantly incarnating into physical forms to find out who and what we are. The reason we do this is because we don't remember from one to the next. Maybe it's because those who control this quadrant of the galaxy don't want us to discover. What would happen, you were to discover how many lifetimes you existed in, and you discover who and what you really truly are, would that mean that maybe you wouldn't incarnate as often? Or maybe you would incarnate into an entirely different form, entirely different civilization. Okay? By keeping our memories gone, pretty much, then they're safe to continually harvest the souls continuously, without fail. In the meantime, we, the gods, have no memory. Because here's the understanding, is that when you can comprehend that you are not that body, that you are the God, the all-powerful, almighty, all-spiritual, pure consciousness in that body, you'll understand that you've always been free. And remember, separation is the illusion that's played upon us. And the reason that separation is there is so that we can discover who and what we are. And we are moving in that direction. And there's no turning around. You can picture yourself, you're in a hallway, right? And the walls in the hallway they have just enough width for you to walk forward. You can't turn. There's no room for you to turn and walk the other way, the opposite. You are continually moving forward. And you know this, okay? And you don't have any issue with it. You continually move forward. You don't stop and say, wait a minute, and try to look over your shoulder. You can't look over your shoulder. This hallway is only wide enough for you to walk forward. Can't turn. Can't really turn your head, because if you do, you'll just see the wall. So whatever has been left behind you has been left behind you, and you no longer need it. It's past you. To discover that each of us create every split second. Now, it doesn't mean that we're creating wonderful, fluffy things. Quite the contrary. Because of the fact that when we look around our physical creations, this world, right? And we look at all the things that are going on. Now, in many cases, we believe that we're separate, right? And that there is some force that is creating all of this, and we have nothing to do with it. That's because of the illusion of separation and the illusion of bicameralism. where you seek that which is outside of you to answer your questions, to decide for you, to guide you, to direct you. While all the time we are manifesting every single thing we focus on, wherever we put our attention, we create. And yeah, you might say, oh, I know all that stuff. I know all that. Nothing new. Well, I know all that stuff. If you knew it, then you would be creating things that you want, not what you don't want. Most of us create things that we don't want. We focus a lot of our energies on what we don't want. Are any of us exempt from that? Not really, because there is an unconscious level and subconscious level where a lot of this goes on. But the true power within us is being able to have the confidence, truth, faith, belief that we are this powerful. Not the ego mind where you pound your chest, so to speak, and look at me, look at how powerful I am. It is through the heart mind where you just know. You know. It is a knowing. It's all there is to it. You don't slip in and out. You know it's a constant. It's your determination, your choice, your decision on where you're going to focus your omnipotent power. See? That's the bottom line. And when at times we do, we'll kind of bump along and then all of a sudden realize that, wow, I'm creating everything. So is everybody else. You ever notice that there are people on this planet that have discovered that? And very quietly, they move along in life and they have an absolute ball living life. Because they know where they direct their attention is what's going to be created. It's a proven fact. It's a proven fact in physics for thousands of experiments and tests. It is a constant. When you realize you're that powerful that you can literally create anything you desire. Different words used: manifest, create. Taking energy, moving it into form, creating it into reality, and then experiencing it. Many different perspectives of it, but it all boils down to one thing. You're the power. What's in that body is omnipotently powerful and cannot be destroyed. Period. It's pure energy. Can't be destroyed. For instance, do you believe that energy dissipates? Energy may leave one containment and transfer itself to another. Where does it go? Right? It goes into the atmosphere. Our atmosphere on this planet is so massively charged with power and energy that it would blow most people's minds. The energy never dissipates. Now, the illusion is that, I'm out of power, I better charge. Charge this, charge that. Where does the source to charge it come from? Where does it all go? It changes form. But see, we've been so trained for so many eons, it's difficult for many of us to comprehend that. Mind's too small to come close to comprehending it. Heart mind's a different story. After all, isn't that what we're all doing on this planet? Trying to figure out who and what we are. Once we get through the body thing, right? Once we understand completely that we are not this body, then we pursue within finding out who and what we really are. If we're not the body, what are we? All this is connected. Isn't it amazing? With so many, 8 billion supremely powerful beings housed in physical forms do not even know, really, truly, that they're not the body. Well, they may say it. You know, I know I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Well, what's inside the soul? The God. So we spend lifetime after lifetime after lifetime pondering this. And very few make full discovery. Because most of us haven't broken the habit, it's a habit, you know, of living in the outside world. You can participate, but you're not of it, right? None of us are of this world, the gods that we are. Oh, you could say the bodies are. And we do engage, we do interact with this world, but we're not of it. And we know that, okay? And we know that since we never die, and we shed bodies like you would clothes, and we get new ones, and we continually experience, this is an endless journey that all of us are on. And that's not a negative downer, it's a positive, super positive, supremely positive. And the biggest culprit on this planet that imprisons us is time. Right? How many of us have been caught in the trap of time? When do you feel stressed, right? When something, a time element is there, where you're under pressure to perform something, do something, or you've only got so much time to do this, this, and this, and immediately you become hurried, stressed, and all the rest that comes with it, right? Oh, I better get this done, I'm running out of time. And we all know stress for the body is absolutely a no-no. It's almost like you have a brand new suit, right? And you get comfortable with the suit really, after a while, it feels really good. And it's and then you take some steel wool and you start rubbing on the suit in the same place, keep rubbing on it. And then it starts wearing through, and then you have a hole. And that's what stress does to us. We have this, we do have a knowing, all of us do. It is there, deep within our cores. We know it. It bubbles up on occasion. We do have it. At times, there'll be times where it'll bubble up and you'll contemplate, so to speak. You know, some of us will say, I wonder what the God within me that I am would say and would do in this situation. Now, eventually, we will be able, and of course, there'll be those who are still asleep, that are to a certain extent, they're awake to a certain extent, but they just not quite have it yet. And then there'll be those of us who have it and understand it. And so when you come across people that aren't there yet, maybe they have an illness or sickness in them, you'll be able to reach into the God that they are, communicate with that God within that body, and instantaneously heal their body. Now, it's been done throughout the ages by those who have no name. Because by those who have no name, those are the ones who have discovered that they are truly, purely the God within that body, and that's it. And this is a playground. And they're having fun in the playground. They know that eventually they won't be in the playground because they'll take on a different form and then go from there. But those with no name have discovered that they aren't the name, they aren't the body, they aren't the character, they aren't the personality. They're none of it. It's all temporary. So why would they have a name, a label? Does that make sense? And people say, what would you do if you didn't have a name? How would I talk with anybody? What would I call them? Well, you could pick a name. You know, if you need a name, right? You pick any name you want. You could say, I am the God, the pure consciousness. All of us are. It's a much different understanding of what we have in this very now moment. But those with no name have discovered that. Why carry a name? That's why some indigenous tribes of the planet throughout the ages would name through nature. They would pick a name. Coyote howling, bear sleeping, all of these things in nature. You see nature, you see something going on, and that's what you name the child. That's what you name the God in the body, which doesn't have a name. It's kind of confusing. But then when you begin to have it unfold, you know that that's the truth. What should I call you? You ever had that? What do you go by? Right? And you say, it doesn't matter. And you say, you pick a name, Harry, Tom, Beth, Joy. And you pick a name. If it makes you feel better to communicate in that direction, pick a name. But as we move deeper and deeper within, we begin to discover all this. It doesn't really seem significant at all because we know we're not the body, but we were given a name, right? When you're born, you're given a name. And that's the name you use until you leave the body. But believe it or not, there are some people on this planet that don't have a name. And they've chosen not to have that name, whatever it was when they were born in body. These are things that you wouldn't, you would look at and say, oh, that's a waste of time. Who really cares, right? Silly. Nuts. Crazy. Is it really? Is it really crazy? Or is it part of our discovery? Such as, real repentance is remembering it. Going into the details, fully aware of what happened, going backwards, reliving the experience. Reliving the experience is like unwinding. It erases. And not only that, it makes us capable of more awareness. Because awareness is being practiced when we are remembering it, when we are becoming again aware about the past incident. We are getting a discipline and awareness and mindfulness. And the next time, we will become aware a little earlier. When you're angry, after a few hours, you could cool down. Next time, after 1 hour, you will cool down. Next time, after a few minutes. Next time, just as it happened, you will cool down. And you will be able to see, by and by slow progression, one day, while you are angry, you will catch yourself red-handed. And that is a beautiful experience, to catch yourself red-handed committing an error. Then suddenly the whole quality changes. Because whenever awareness penetrates you, reactions stop. Anger is a childish reaction. It is the child in us. It is coming from the C, and later on, when you feel sorry, that is coming from the I, or the P, from the parent. The child, C, P, the parent. The parent forces us to feel sorry and go and ask forgiveness. We have not been good to our mother, to our uncle. Go and put things right. Or it can come from A, from our adult mind. We have been angry, and later on we recognize that this is going to be too much. There is a financial loss in it. We have been angry with our boss. Now we become afraid. Now we start thinking, they may throw me out, or they may carry the anger within them. Your salary was going to be raised. He may not raise it now. 1,001 things could happen. So you would like to put things right. Now, when it is said to repent, it doesn't mean that for you to function from C or P or A. But when you do become aware, sit down, close your eyes, and meditate upon the whole thing. Become a watcher. You missed the situation, but still something can be done about it. You can watch it. You can watch it as it should have been watched. You can practice. This will be a rehearsal. And by the time you have watched the whole situation, you will feel completely okay. If then you feel like going and asking forgiveness for no other reasons, neither the parent nor the adult nor the child, but out of sheer understanding, out of sheer meditation, that it was wrong. It was not wrong for any other reason. It was wrong because you believed in an unconscious way. You go and you ask for forgiveness, not for any other reason, financial, social, political, cultural. You simply go there because you meditated on it, and you recognized and realized that the fact that you acted in unawareness, you have hurt somebody in unawareness. You have to go and console the person at least. You have to go and help the person to understand your helplessness, that you are an unconscious person, that you are a human being with all the limitations, that you are sorry. It is not putting your ego back. It is simply doing something which your meditation has showed you. It is totally a different dimension. See, when I say it is all about you, it is. It is all about you. If you don't, it's just common sense. If you don't take care of yourself, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, and you don't provide for yourself, right? And how will you be able to provide or help others if you can't provide and help yourself first? This is why many times, and we've all witnessed this one way, shape, form, or another, where someone really helps a lot of people, but then they dissipate, and then they just like a flash are gone. Because they never bothered to help themselves, nurture themselves, love themselves, which would have made them super powerful in helping others. If a man who has committed a misdemeanor comes to the knowledge of it, reforms himself, and practices goodness. So 2 things here. First, the moment you feel that something goes wrong, something makes you unconscious, and you behave in a mechanical way, and you react, then you have to do something, and the doing has to become more aware. That is the only way to reform yourself. Watch how many things you do unconsciously. Somebody says something and there is an anger, right? There is not even a single moment's gap. It is as if you are just a mechanism. Somebody pushes a button and you lose your temper. Just as if you push the button and the fan starts moving and the light goes on. There is not a single moment's hesitation. The fan never thinks whether to move or not to move. It simply moves. This is unconsciousness. This is mindlessness. Somebody insults you and you're simply controlled by their insult. One fellow used to say that a small thing transformed his life completely. His father was dying and he called the boy. And at the time he was only 9 years old, and he said to him, I have something much to give you. I have nothing much to give you. But only one advice, right, that was given by his father to him from his deathbed. I don't feel that you will be able to understand it right now. You are too young. So just remember it. Whenever you can understand, it will be helpful. The father said, remember only one thing. If you feel anger, wait for 24 hours. Then do whatsoever you want to do, but first wait 24 hours. If somebody insults you, you tell them, I will come after 24 hours and do whatsoever is needed. Please give me a little time to think it over. Have any of us done that? Or is it more a knee-jerk? Of course, the 9-year-old could not understand what it was, but he remembered it. By and by, he became aware of the tremendous impact of it. He was completely transformed. 2 things he had to remember. 1, he had to be aware not to move into anger when somebody was insulting, not to allow himself to be manipulated by the other. He had to wait for 24 hours. So when somebody was insulting or saying something against him, he would simply remain alert, not be affected. For 24 hours, he had promised his dying father he would remain cool and calm. By and by, he became capable, and then he understood it. That after 24 hours, it is never needed. You cannot be angry after 24 hours. After 24 minutes, you cannot be angry. After 24 seconds, you cannot be angry. Either it is instant or it is not. Because anger functions only if you are unconscious, if you are this conscious, that when you can wait for 24 seconds, finished, then you cannot be angry. Then you have missed the moment. Then you have missed the train. The train has left the platform. Even 24 seconds will do. Try it. Now, one who acknowledges his errors, excuse me, and he simply says, acknowledges. He does not say one who condemns, because there is nothing to condemn. It is human. It is natural. We are unconscious beings. Existence is asleep in the mineral, totally oblivious in the vegetable. The sleep is not so sleep and deep. A few fragments of dreams have started moving around, and the animal existence is dreaming. In man, it has become a little aware, just a little. Those moments are few and far between. Sometimes months pass, and you are not aware for a single moment. But in man, there is the possibility of a few moments of awareness. In a Buddha, an enlightened one, existence has become perfectly aware. Watch the existence all around. In these trees, there are just a few fragments of dreams. In the rocks, fast, deep sleep, dreamless. In the animals, in the cat, in the dog, in the lion, in the tiger, in the birds, existence is dreaming many dreams. In man, it is surfacing just a little, a few moments of awareness. So don't miss any opportunity. Whenever you become aware, and those are the best moments to become aware. When unconsciousness is pulling you deep down, if you can use those moments, if you can use those moments as challenges, existence will become more and more and more aware in you. And one day, your awareness becomes a continuous flame, an eternal flame. Then existence is perfectly awake. No sleep, no dream. I'll join you in a meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. This moment is our opportunity to embrace our divine existence. Nothing is holding us back. Our skeptical minds are not who we truly are. So simply let it go. The burdens that we carry do not exist. They are all in the illusions of the mind. Stop thinking, planning, and pretending. It is too much effort to always be doing. Just stop randomly throughout the day today. Go directly to the source of who you really are. Forget about everything that you should be. Remain fixed upon what is real and true inside you for the next 7 minutes. Breathe slowly and deeply and release all the heaviest illusions which you get caught in that weigh you down every day. Take this with you for the rest of the day and the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Time for Change call, and Thursday, December 8th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be good to yourself.